Chain Management, MMPO 008. We were discussing about global supply chain management and influence of agencies. That comes under Unit 2. Continuing with that, now we will be talking about key recent initiatives of Government of India. Initiatives taken by government to promote port sector. Some of the major recent initiatives taken by Government of India for smooth logistics and supply chain system in India are as follows. Start with seaport. In May 2018, Ministry of Shipping allowed foreign flagged ships to carry containers for transshipment. In March 2018, a revised Model Concession Agreement, that is MCA, was approved to make ports project more investor friendly and make investment climate in the sector more attractive. Project Unnati has been started by Government of India to identify the opportunity areas for improvement in the operations of major ports. Second one is Inland Waterways. Inland Waterways Authority of India (IWAI) was set up in 1986 for the purpose of increasing the significance of inland waterways and to improve their efficiency. The following island waterways have been declared as national waterways by IWAI. First one is NW1, the Ganga River between Allahabad and Haldia. That is almost 1,620 kilometers long. It is navigable up to Patna by mechanized boats and by ordinary boats up to Haridwar. And W2, that is the Brahmaputra River between Sadia and Dubri, almost 891 kilometers. It is navigable by steamers up to Dibrugarh and is shared by India and Bangladesh. The third one is the West Coast Canal in Kerala between Kottapuram and Kollam. That is of length 205 kilometers. The third one is road transportation. National Highway Authority of India, what we call it as NHAI, was created by an attachment of the Parliament Act with the National Highway Authority of India Act 1988 to replace the earlier act, that was National Highway Act 1956, that empowered declaration of certain highways as national highways. The present act was passed to provide for the constitution of an authority for the development, maintenance, and management of national highways and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. Major initiatives have been taken to improve connectivity and smoothen the movement of passenger and cargo traffic, as well as to overcome the issues of environmental pollution. Now we move to Unit 3, that is strategic orientation to global supply chain management. Conduct of business is rapidly changing with the passage of time and the customer's preferences. One tool which has really supported to waive these traditional transformative times is the advent of new technologies, mode of communication, and transportation. At present, the companies are able to trade easily at the local and global level, which gradually resulted in development and design of the concept of global supply chain management, that is GSCM. This has also resulted in development of various global supply chain strategies. Companies like Apple, Zara, Dell, etc., are known for their quality products worldwide by the customers on the basis of strategic orientation of GSC. Now we will see what actually exactly global supply chain management is. A global supply chain is a dynamic worldwide network. When a company purchases or uses goods or services from overseas, it involves people, information, processes, and resources involved in the production, handling, and distribution of materials and finished products or providing a service to the customer. Global supply chain management refers to the distribution of services and goods through global network of transnational companies to maximize profit and minimize waste. What are the main areas of global supply chain management? First one is orientation of competitor. Global supply chain management has the specific orientation of competitor in the development and designing of supply chain management strategies. As this will depend on the product and services the company deals with and the strategic orientation of competitor in that business space. Second one is management of logistics. Logistics plays an important role in the global supply chain management as this will depend on the company which platform will they choose from 1PL, 2PL, 3PL or 4PL. The third one is customers orientation. The role and importance of customers are well defined in the business space, and thus the company has to take this aspect very seriously so that the global supply chain management will fruitfully meet the desired stated and unstated needs of the customer. Fourth one is management of supply. The supply side of the in the global supply chain management try to cover all the suppliers and partners in their own way and manage so that the specific raw materials and other resources will be managed in the most optimum manner. Fifth one is supply chain coordination. Coordination plays an important role in the global supply chain management as if suppose one entity is not working properly, then the entire network of the global supply chain management will be disturbed. An organization will not earn the estimated profits and customers will not be able to have the desired fruits in terms of product and services. The sixth one is operations management. Traditionally, companies were working in specific rigid cubicles and they were occasionally communicating with each other. But after the advent and usage of operations management, the effectiveness and efficiency of the organizations have increased rapidly. What is global supply chain strategy? Global supply chain strategy is designing the product flows in an optimal way so as to satisfy all the global customers and suppliers along the supply chain. It also involves a process in which procurement and supply can be made around the globe irrespective of location and the shipment will be delivered to the exact destination. Trends in global supply chain strategies. First of all, that is use of green technology and to cut logistics cost. Companies like Merck, Tesla, and Microsoft have started to use green technologies and reduce their carbon footprint by a great factor. Now many companies have adopted the global supply chain strategy of using green technology in their supply chain. Supply chain integration with the goal of streamlining the entire supply chain. Ocean carrier companies like Maersk and Damco have started to integrate their supply chains digitally for the overall better efficiency and effectiveness. Trade lens technology. Collaboration in business is always between like minded partners, suppliers, and organizations. So, TradeLens is the outcome of collaboration between IBM and Musk, and it is a blockchain enabled shipping solution for enhancing global trade, increasing partnership to reduce logistics cost. International companies across the world are trying to find digital partners in order to improve their global supply chain so that customers putting up at various locations and geographies can be provided better service experience. Supply chain digitization. Digitization would improve the global supply chain strategy. It would help companies in monitoring, inventory, managing workhouse stocks, etc. For example, end to end digitization has been achieved in most automobile companies. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence would have many applications in the global supply chain strategies, as in warehouse segment, route optimization, weather aspects, etc. Service chains. Service chain will become more important than product chain in the global supply chains strategy. Companies would become more service centric than product centric. Nowadays, organizations are selling tangible products as service, and customers are looking for better experience and personalized space. Circular supply chain. New logistics practices would focus in the circular supply chain in the global supply chain strategy, which further means that using previously used products as raw materials. Supply chain resiliency. As the business environment is changing rapidly, and organizations are trying their level best to function properly in the uncertain environment. Thus, more focus on risk management and supply chain resiliency have been done by the organizations. Stronger collaboration. Stronger collaboration in global supply chain strategy is the need of the hour, and collaboration would increase in the supply chain as it can reduce overutilization of resources and other important aspects. SaaS in supply chain. Organizations will use software as service, like SaaS, in the global supply chain strategy. Moreover, the use of software as a service model in supply chain technologies would increase in the downstream and upstream of the global supply chain. Then comes wearable devices. When combined with cloud technology, various devices can help employees access and input data in real time. Warehouse managers can use wearable for the fast collection of inventory data. Thus, wearable devices are new trends in global supply chain strategy. What are the different phases in global supply chain strategy? There are six phases. So we will start with phase one. Under phase one, global supply chain strategy starts with designing a business operating model based on real time demand and information collected from various authentic sources like customers, suppliers, vendors, partners, etc. Phase two is to build a global supply chain strategy which is adaptive. and flexible as the business environment is continuously changing in the local and global space. So, all sincere efforts should be made by the organization to build adaptive framework so that some uncertain event will not disrupt the entire supply chain. Phase 3 is optimizing product design and supply in order to sustain. Two, accelerated profitable innovation so that the needs of customers and other stakeholders should be kept in mind in the global supply chain strategy. Phase 4 is aligning supply chain strategy with business goals through integration of operations planning with corporate planning. Because if the proper integration is not done, then the supposed fruit of the supply value would not be cropped up by the stakeholders. Phase 5 is make global supply chain strategy operations sustainable by adopting lean manufacturing is the need of our in the present business environments. Phase 6 is making global supply chain strategy reliable and fast is very important nowadays because customer wants quality product and services in very less time and the competitive environment is increasing day by day. Supply chain design matching with business strategy. So we will see different types of designs. So we will start with distribution network design. A distribution network is a logical framework which is design based on the characteristics of the product and customer needs. There is a range of distribution networks which can be designed depending upon the trade off done by the firm between the efficiency and responsiveness. There are a number of factors on which the strength and weakness of the distribution network depends. And the performance evaluation of design of any distribution network depends on the following seven factors. First one is response time. It is the time in which the supply chain responds to an end customer need. Second one is product variety. Product variety take care of as how many different kinds of products can be offered by the supply chain. Third one is product availability. Product availability depends upon the probability of getting the customer needs fulfilled by the supply chain. Fourth one is customer experience. This is a new aspect as it takes care of as to with how much ease a customer can place and customize an order and experimental aspects like value added by supply chain to the customer experience. Fifth one is time to market. Time to market generally takes into consideration the duration of the time taken by the supply chain to launch a new product from manufacturer to the market. Over visibility. This is provided by the distribution network to the end customer to track their order. Returnability. This refers to as such with how much ease the supply chain can manage when the customer tries to return the shipment. Types of distribution network design. First one is manufacturer storage with direct shipping. Here the advantages are centralization of inventory at manufacturer with low level of inventory at retailers. Aggregation of demand from all retailers as well as when need inventory. Third one is opportunity for the manufacturer to postpone customization. Fourth one is Facilities like warehouse aren't established. In this case, the reduction in fixed cost will be an advantage. And handling costs will be saved as there is no transfer from manufacturer to the retailer. Now, if the advantages are there, there would be some disadvantages also. If the demand is predictable, then the benefits of inventory aggregation cannot be taken. Next one is outbound transportation cost, as the single customer may have multiple partial shipments from different manufacturers. Large amount of investment is needed for developing and maintaining information infrastructure. Response time is high as the distance between the manufacturer and the end customer may be larger than between retailer and customer. That depends upon the circumstances under which the supply chain is working. The second one is manufacturer storage with direct shipment and in transit merger. Here the advantages are the outbound transportation cost will be lower as compared to drop shipping. Only single delivery will be there and overall customer experience is good. In this way, in transit merger places allows companies at an advantageous position by incurring lower inventory and transportation cost. Disadvantage of this method is the cost of handling at the in transit merger location would increase and response time will be higher as compared to drop shipping. The third one is distributor storage with carrier delivery. Here the advantages are that outbound transportation cost would be lower because at distribution storage and customer orders can be bundled into a single shipment, unlike the case of drop shipping. Secondly, less capital expenditure and revenue expenditure is in establishing and maintaining information infrastructure. Third one is faster response time as compared to the manufacturer storage and managing reverse logistics for returning any product would be an easier task. Disadvantage of this method is the cost of keeping the slow moving inventory in distributors storage would be more than storing at manufacturing place. But for fast moving inventory, there won't be much of the difference. Variety and availability of the product will be less as compared to drop shipping model. Availability of product will not be possible unless the manufacturer product reaches the distribution storage location. The fourth method is distributor storage with last mile delivery. Here, what are the advantages? Here the response time is quick, order visibility is same to the previous model, and returnability is easier in this network as compared to the others. The disadvantage of this method is the cost of carrying becomes higher in this value of network as compared to distributor storage with package carrier delivery because they need to stock more SKU. They open a greater number of warehouses as to increase the reachability, which increase their facility and capital expenditure. Product variety and availability is less when compared distributor storage with package carrier delivery. The fifth one is retail storage with customer pickup. Advantages of this technique is the response time is very low with which type of network because of local storage at retail outlets. time to market factor is longest with this type of network based model because the new product has to move through the whole distribution network. Returnability is easier as retail stores acts as a substitute for it. The disadvantage associated with it is that there is lack of aggregation, increases the carrying cost of inventory at the retailer's storage. Hefty amount of capital and revenue expenditure need to be done on information infrastructure. Product variety and availability are very expensive as compared to any other network model. Now, companies are using reverse logistics as a strategy. Now we will see what reverse logistics actually is. Reverse logistics is an integral part of the total supply chain management of many firms and industrial sectors, which offer an entirely new avenue for revenue generation for the companies. For instance, firms like Coca-Cola, Mexico, etc., have been using glass bottles. Paper industry uses waste or used paper as raw material. Thus, reverse logistics is an integral part of the total supply chain system. On the other hand, Indian automobile majors like Maruti True Value is involved in the business of reconditioning and marketing of used cars that have become a source of revenue generation. Under this system, they buy back used cars from the consumers. Thereafter, car undergoes rigorous checking for quality and performance, followed by reconditioning and refurbishment. After following these above processes, firms sell such cars along with certain warranty to the consumers at a price based on true value. In this way, they generate additional revenue. Any activity that deals with reconfiguration, remanufacturing, reconditioning, refurbishing, redesigning, recycling, cannibalization, remarketing, and disposal comes under the purview of reverse logistics. Other terms synonyms to reverse logistics are aftermarket logistics or retro logistics or aftermarket supply chain. The reverse supply chain is also a term used in the industry. Reverse logistics is not to be confused with forward logistics or getting the product to market, commonly known as the forward supply chain. Types of activity common with reverse logistics includes logistics, warehousing, repair, refurbishment, recycling, after-market call center support, reverse fulfillment, field service, and many others to name. Accordingly, reverse logistics is defined as the process of planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient, cost effective flow of raw materials, in process inventory, finished goods, and related information from the point of consumption to the point of origin for the purpose of recapturing value or proper disposal. Reverse logistics is the process of moving goods from their typical final destination for the purpose of recapturing value or proper disposal. It deals with all essential activities of logistics management, except operating in reverse direction. Finally, it refers to the process of moving goods from final destination of use and users for the purpose of capturing and creating new value for the end users or proposal or proper disposal. Reverse logistics is becoming an important aspect of supply chain management. Many firms did not devote much time or energy to the management and understanding of reverse logistics previously, but have now begun to pay attention and benchmarking return operations with best in class operators. Third party specialization in returns have seen demand for their service greatly increased. Leading edge firms are recognizing the strategic value of reverse logistics. Following are different categories of reverse logistics flow that may be carried out by the firms. First one is end of use return, commercial returns, warranty returns, production scrap and byproducts, and the packaging. Now we will see some examples of successful reverse logistics. H&M, the brand, accepts used clothing at all of their stores worldwide. The clothes can be in any condition or brand, and H&M will use the clothing they have collected to create an all recycled clothing line. This type of reverse logistics chain allows all types of consumers to get involved with the brand, even they didn't purchase their garments from H&M. What are the strategic uses of reverse logistics? Sustainable reverse logistics strategies offer many additional smaller benefits, such as eliminating fines from the government, organizing from improper disposal, but the overwhelming monetary benefits of employing a reverse logistics strategy far over outweighs the cost of simply tossing old equipments into a landfill. Some of the strategic benefits of reverse logistics are: the first one is return on investment, ROI again. A purchase of equipment or remanufactured equipment is an investment for a business. Over time, the equipment improves profitability and has a positive return on investment. When the time comes to get rid of this equipment, business owners can employ reverse logistics practices to reap a second return on investment from the equipment. Many computers and other electronics contain high levels of metals such as copper, iron, or steel, which may be sold for reuse in new devices, or a defective automotive piece of equipment can be remanufactured, giving life to the equipment, allowing it to be reused or resold. Second one is public perception. It matters. A business that engages in reuse and recycling can take advantage of mass following of the green movement. People have seen the harmful nature of filling landfills with millions of toxic, dangerous items, and the public wants to know that each company is doing its best to promote a safe environment for future generations. Thus, a company that recycles their end of life products embarrasses the wants of the public. What are the challenges in reverse logistics? Retailer manufacturer conflict, inefficiencies that lengthen the time for processing returns. Second one, they have to develop a working partnership to arise mutual benefit. Problem returns symptoms. This is lack of information about the process. If you are not calculating it, you are not managing it properly. Then comes the cause and effect. Poor data collection leads to uncertainty about return causes. What was the cause of return? Improving the return process decreases cost. The third one is being able to see defective products and to track return issues. Then comes your reactive response. Government directives or pressure from the environmental agencies. It has not been likely to validate a large investment in refining, reverse logistics, arrangement, and capabilities. Supply chain as a competitive advantage. Copacino in 1992 has identified the following five ways to signify gain in competitive advantage by using supply chain management. First one is low cost. Through superior efficiency, supply chain can contribute to a cost advantage that can be leveraged to increase the market share or enhance profitability. Low cost supply chain is particularly important in logistic intensive industries where there is a little differentiation among commodities products such as certain segment of chemical or paper industries. In these industries, supply chain cost can exceed 15% of the goods sold. Second one is superior customer service. The most notable measure for customer service includes short order lead times and in stock availability. Such measures can also include order and invoice accuracy, access to information on order status, ability to respond to customers' inquiries, and so forth. The third one is value added service. This involves providing services that enhance customers' ability to compete and includes activity like pricing and ticketing of merchandise, assembling mixed pallets, making drop shipments direct to stores, etc. The fourth one is flexibility. The logistics system can create an advantage of being flexible enough to customize its service and cost offerings in order to meet the needs of either distinct customer segments or individual accounts. Fifth one is regeneration. A genuine value and competitive advantage can be provided by the supply chain system with the capability to reinvest itself. This means it has the capability to innovate or develop new ways to serve a market. For example, because manufacturers of generic pharmaceuticals have begun to serve the channel directly, wholesalers of those pharmaceuticals had to reinvent themselves to focus on high service. Now, we move to block two, that is demand management and customer service. To start with, that is unit 4, demand measurement and management. First of all, we have to understand what demand measurement is, and demand measurement is required in which area. Simple is that to understand it, it has to be or it will be used in demand forecasting. Forecasting is predicting something. Customers' need and wants are changing with the passage of time, and the focus of companies is shifting from products and services towards providing better experience and personalization to consumers. Earlier, Companies were producing tangible products, and customers used to wait for weeks or months for the delivery of those products. But now, the focus of companies have shifted towards customers or consumers' behavior and other aspects. Demand, purchasers' wish, and capability to acquire a good or service at a specific time. For example, demand for smartphones, superbikes, luxury cars, e-vehicles, etc. And the second part is forecasting. A forecasting is an estimate of a future event achieved by systematically combining and casting forward in a predetermined way about data related to the past. Demand forecasting is the projection and prediction of demand of various materials by location, stock keeping units, that is SQs, and the time period, which is critical to success of supply chain management. A typical logistical forecast is a production for weekly or monthly shipments for a distribution center for an individual item. Forecasts may be aggregated across time periods for analysis and reporting. Forecasts covers multiple time periods, multiple products or product groups, multiple geographical area, and often multiple customer groups. The primary objective of demand forecasting is to have the right product in the right position at right time and in right quantity. Forecasting brings planning and coordination together between production and capacity of facilities that facilitates supply chain managers to proactively locate resources appropriately so as to have a smooth interface between them. It also increases effectiveness and efficiency of the total supply chain system. Time horizons for forecasting. Organizations are generally using different forecasting time horizons in the following ways. First one is short term forecast. This is generally considered for 3 months into the future. Short term forecast can be daily, weekly, monthly, annually, etc. For example, like inventory management, supply schedules, etc., it is basically for shorter period of time. Second one is medium term. Here, in medium term forecast, it is considered for the time period between 3 months and less than 2 years. For example, personal management, raw materials required for a specific time, etc. The third one is long term. Long term forecasts usually have time period of more than 2 years into the future. These are generally strategic decisions taken by the top management of the organization. The top example or the example can be of plant location, plant layout, etc. for a steel plant. What are the methods of demand forecasting? Methods used for forecasting are: the first one is qualitative method. This method is generally based on opinions of the experts and judgment. These are basically subjective in nature. Some of the qualitative methods are market research, panel consensus, historical analogy method, or Delphi method. Second one is time series analysis. Time series analysis is generally used using past data to estimate the future event. Companies are using past sales number of the product so as to estimate the probable future sales number. Past data is having various indicators like horizontal trend, seasonal and variations, cyclic fluctuation, and random variations. These are all included in it. The third one is casual forecasting method. Here, the relationships are critically analyzed in casual forecasting methods such as econometric model, linear regression, and multiple regression. Fourth one is simulation method. Companies are generally using Monte Carlo simulation method for estimating the future demand. Qualitative methods for forecasting. These methods are usually influenced by the experience of the concerned person and their biases between certain situation and circumstances. Market research. When an organization is launching a new product or updating the existing product, then market research is used by the organization to collect views of suggestions from the consumers with the support of various tools like questionnaire, telephone calls, interviews, etc. The second one is panel consensus. This method is based on the assumptions that two people are better than one, meaning by two heads can take better decision in a particular situation. In panel consensus, a team of people from various walks of life are formed to discuss a given problem. People generally provide their respective views about the given situation. Third one is historical analogy method. This method is used when the company is launching a new product and that product does not exist in the market. So the company takes data of the similar or related products. Now we will moving further, that is time series analysis of forecasting. Time series analysis uses past data of the product to estimate the future demand of the product. The demand for products is having following aspects. The first one is horizontal. The demand of product usually fluctuates around certain values. Second one is trend. Data follows a particular pattern in the form of increase or decrease. For example, one hand demand for smartphones is increasing in the metros, and the other hand demand for feature phone is declining in the metros. See, third one is seasonal aspect. Demand of the product increases or decreases with the change in the season or time of a day, week, month, quarter, etc. For example, demand for ice cream increases during the summer season and demand for body warmers increases in winter season. Fourth one is cyclic. The demand of the product changes after certain duration of time. For example, demand for e-vehicles will increase in the coming future. Fifth one is random. Demand for product depends on the factors which cannot be assigned. For example, demand for certain products will depend on the earthquake or famine. The next method is simple moving average. Simple moving average method is used when the data is neither increasing nor decreasing with the passage of time. Moreover, data is also not having seasonal fluctuation. Now we will see to a problem. Sale of luxury cars in the month of June, July, August, and September is 1900, 200, 197, and 205. What is the forecasted demand of luxury cars for the month of October? Now, how many periods are there? There are four periods. Let us assume that forecasted demand for the month of October is given by FT. We have the demand for June, July, August, September. Here, the three values of the respective month, that is June, July, and August, will be added up as it is, plus the actual demand of September by 4, because there are 4 units. That's, you can see the calculation, 190 plus 200 plus 197 plus 205 divided by 4, which comes out to be 198. That means we can say that forecasted demand for luxury cars for the month of October is 198 units. Then comes your weighted moving average. Simple moving average gives equal weight to the past data, whereas weighted moving average assigns different weights to past data. And this method is used on the assumption that past should be treated differently. Suppose we have a problem. ABC is selling 200, 180, 212 inverters in the month of January, February, and March. What is the weighted moving average for the investment for the month of April? The weights assigned for January is 20%, February is 30%, and March is 50%. Now we will see how this information is clubbed together to find out the weighted moving average for inverters in the month of April. So this data is given to us. Now we will be using the forecasting demand for the month of April. It's given by FT. Weighted January into demand January plus weighted February into demand February plus weighted March into demand March. That will be, the demand will be in percent. That this weighted will be in percent. That means 20% is zero point 0.2 into 200 plus 30% is 0.3 into 180. And when we will be clubbing it, adding them, we will get 200 units. That means weighted moving average for the month of April will be 200 units. Moving further, that is single smoothing method. Simple moving average and weighted moving average requires large amount of data to forecast the future demand. Single smoothing method is used on the assumption that the latest occurrence of data is more effective in estimating the future value. It requires less amount of data. A single smoothing methods require actual data of the previous time period and smoothing constant, that is alpha, which always lies between 0 and 1. Moreover, keep the value of alpha as low if the data is stable or vice versa. Trend adjusted exponential smoothing method. Sometimes data is having various fluctuations. We have seen 5 fluctuations, and it's difficult to estimate the future value. So as to correct the trend in the past data, two smoothing constants are used in the form of alpha and beta, where beta is used for smoothing the trend. Generally, the value of alpha and beta constants are known, or these constants can be calculated from the past data also. Then comes your bullwhip effect. The phenomena of bullwhip effect in the supply chain occurs when information about the demand becomes increasingly distorted and it moves upstreams in the manufacturing process. The bullwhip effect phenomena was first identified by Wang in 1995, which refers to the variation in reaction down the length of the whip after it is cracked, resulting in an expensive manufacturing problem. He explains that bullwhip effect happens in manufacturing when information about the consumer demand for any product becomes increasingly distorted as it moves upstream in the manufacturing process. This distortion leads to excessive inventory throughout the system, poor product forecast, insufficient or excessive capacities, product unavailability, and higher cost generally. Many firms have observed the Bolwick effect, wherein fluctuations in order increases as they move up the supply chain from retailers to warehouses to manufacturers to suppliers. The Bullwhip effect distorts demand information within the supply chain, with different states having a very different estimate of what demand looks like. The result is a loss of supply chain coordination. There is a very, or we can say that there is every possibility of lack of coordination at each stage of supply chain, mainly due to optimization of its local objectives, without taking into consideration its net impact on the complete supply chain. Or, in other words, each stage of the supply chain is trying to optimize its local objectives and accordingly takes action that ultimately results in the poor performance of the entire supply chain. Another cause of bullwhip effect is known as gaming, intentionally presenting manufacturers with a false picture of consumer demand. For instance, an electronic chain might know that the maker of a popular new laser printer currently has a very limited capacity to produce the item. Meanwhile, the printer is selling rapidly and generating healthy profit for the chain, which wants to be on order of 100 or more. The chain knows the manufacturer is going to be rationing printers. Retailers will be allocated half of what they request. So, in order to get the 100 printers it wants, the retailer asks for 200. When other retailers behave the same way and each orders 200, the chain may not receive 100 printers. But it also leaves the manufacturer with a very distorted picture of consumer demand for the product. To discourage gaming, Wang suggests manufacturers allocate scarce product to retailers based on past sales goods records rather than on the amount requested in a particular order. This is always supply less. What is the net impact of bullwhip effect on supply chains? The bullwhip effect will have a number of negative effects on the overall supply chain operations, such as excessive investment on inventory throughout the supply chain to safeguard against the variations. Secondly, poor customer service as some part of the supply chain runs out of the product due to the variability and insufficient means for coping up with the variations. Third one is loss of revenues due to shortage, which has been caused by the variations. The productivity of invested capital in operations becomes standardized or substandardized as revenues are lost. What are the remedies for Polwick effect? Nowadays, companies are timely identifying the Bolwick effect, and the top managements are deeply thoughtful about the roots of this effect. Different new methods have been implemented by different companies, which have the power to address the Bolwick effect partially. On the basis of coordination mechanism, companies categorize various initiatives and remedies, especially sharing of information, alignment for channels, and operational efficiency. With the help of technique known as information sharing, timely transmission of information about demand is transmitted at next higher or upstream level. With this, we will be concluding this session.